Alright, bro, we back. I had to switch the lights, my nigga. I ain't pay fucking, you feel me? Well, I got this shit as a gift, but niggas ain't give this shit changing colors for no reason, my nigga. You feel me? Let me know if y'all fuck with this color. I just try to switch it up because you feel me? We gotta switch it up, bro. This video is kind of creepy, bro. We gotta switch it up.
One of the two cars drove over to the building, and the two officers
If y'all don't fuck with this though, let me know.
began to search the building. They came back with nothing except for a couple of spiky objects. These objects were exactly the same as the ones used to slash my tires. The cops guessed that it was some kind of sick, demented couple, being that I saw the woman, but unfortunately they were never found, and that still kills me to this day. I obviously quit my job right after that and started working at a local grocery store. I know that I'll never forget seeing that woman at the back of my car.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. That shit is scary. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds scary. Oh, nah, what? Look, bro, she popped up right here.
I recently moved out, and I already have a horror story to tell. The house I moved into isn't anything impressive, it's just a house that's appropriate for one or two people. But I'd say right away, I started hearing weird sounds coming from inside the walls. I first heard it in the kitchen, and then in the bathroom, but on night 3, I started hearing it in my bedroom. I was sure there was some kind of animal living in my walls. I just had to figure out how to get rid of it. The next morning, I didn't even have enough milk to fill the bowl of cereal. I couldn't believe I hadn't realized I needed more milk. In fact, I seemed to be eating up all of my food pretty fast. I woke up in the middle of that night to the sound of breathing. Not my breathing. It sounded just like the breathing of a person.
Bro,
I flipped the lamp
what?
on and it stopped. I chalked it up as my mind playing tricks on me after waking up. The next day was really hot, so I turned on the AC for the first time. I checked every single vent, and some of them weren't blowing any air, one of them being the vent right next to my bed. I peered through the vent with a flashlight. There wasn't even a duct behind the vent. It was just the inside of the wall. It seemed that whatever air duct was in there had been removed. Unfortunately, I didn't look into the air conditioning system while buying the house, so I didn't know about this. That night, I had to sleep in the heat with no AC.
Nah, don't tell me somebody's sleeping in your walls.
So I was up
bro.
pretty late, constantly rolling around and flipping the pillow over. Then I eventually started to hear the breathing again, but this time I was fully awake. I knew it was real this time. It was coming to my left. I looked to my left at the air vents. The sound was surely coming from in there. I grabbed the flashlight again and shined it in through the vent.
Nah,
I dropped it and screamed. There was someone's face peering through the cracks of the vents. The first thing I saw were their eyes, open wide and glowing. I screamed all the way down and out the house. I soon found out there was a crazy, dangerous homeless man living in my walls, and he had been eating my food ever since I moved in.
Damn. Nah, that happens way more often than you think. I'm not gonna lie. That happens way more often than you think. I'm not gonna lie. I fuck with the lights like this, but to be honest, I don't know if y'all fuck with it. I don't know. Let me know if y'all fuck with it. I'm gonna just change it back to normal. I'm gonna change it. So, alright, but we back. I just had to adjust the lights. I'm not gonna lie. I still gotta get in tune with how to use the whole light shit and all that. But let me know if y'all fuck with the other lighting. Because I really do that for other videos if I want me to be honest.
I was doing some night hog hunting in the woods near my backyard. I was hiding in the tower I had built about a decade ago. In case anyone's wondering, I of course had a night vision scope attachment. I guess I'm what you would consider a hardcore hunter. I don't want to bore you with the unnecessary story prolonging details, so I'll make this short. And I want everyone to know that though I agree this story sounds far-fetched and crazy, it is nothing but the truth. And I in a way actually consider myself lucky that I'll always have such a horrifying story to share. So, while I was sitting in the tower waiting for movement, it finally came. I took aim and found the source. But it wasn't at all a hog, or any kind of animal I was expecting. It was a person. A man wearing all black. Black sweatpants, black shoes, and a black hoodie with the hood over his head. But that wasn't the freakiest part. He was dragging a sack behind him. My heart started racing. I was pretty sure I was witnessing this guy trying to bury a body.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Imagine you're doing some shit and you're about to get away with it, and then you get caught by a hunter. And you don't even know because he's hunting. He's hiding, bro. That's crazy.
I continued to watch him, but then he slowed down, and I swear to God, it looked as if he turned his head up to me. I ducked down under the wooden walls of the tower, shaking in my boots. Yes, I had a gun, but just the idea of using it against a person is horrifying. I lay low, praying to God.
That's actually crazy, bro. That niggas think like that. Like, I get you gotta eat food and stuff, but like, bro, you really could kill all these animals, all these deers, and like, you can't do it to a human. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying that's right or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, how is he scared to do that if he's not scared to, like, shoot a lion or, like, you feel me? How are you scared? Makes no sense, bro.
God that he hadn't seen me. It wouldn't make sense if he could, though. It's practically pitch black out here. Or at least, that was my logic. Seconds felt like an eternity as I waited for the footsteps in the leaves to move elsewhere, but I didn't hear any footsteps. All I heard was the sound of a foot hitting one of the wooden planks on the ladder of the tower. I felt the entire tower vibrate and shake as there were 2 more steps moving up the ladder. At this point, I was asking myself deep down, am I going to be able to shoot someone? But for some reason, whoever was down there decided not to climb all the way up, as I heard them jump back down to the forest ground and began dragging the sack away. I think I stayed frozen like a statue for at least 10 minutes before even peeking over the ledge again. The coast seemed clear. I had to get home and warn the police immediately. I hopped over the ledge and descended down the ladder. I turned on my pocket flashlight, which in hindsight was a stupid move considering the situation, and ran back in the direction of my house. I was only able to run for about 10 seconds or so when I heard the rapid, manic footsteps crunching the leaves from behind me. I took a look over my shoulder, and there he was, inches away from my face. I spun around and shot him in the shoulder. He stopped and screamed in agony, and I took that moment to finish my dash to my house. Again, in hindsight, I should have held him hostage somehow, but that doesn't even matter now. I called the police, who showed up within 15 minutes with a whole search squad, and I led them all into the woods to the exact location where I shot him. There was a faint yet noticeable blood trail spilled onto the leaves, which led past the body bag, which the cops seized, and eventually right to the maniac, who was hiding under a log next to a tree. He was arrested and tried for the murder of Jin-Quen Sakanaki, a Japanese corner store owner. I don't know the full story behind it, but I do know...
I'm not gonna lie, bro. If you're gonna do that, bro, why would you make it that obvious? Like, obviously, if you dragging a bag in the woods at night, and somebody sees you, bro, obviously a nigga's gonna think you're doing something suspicious.
I won't forget this one for the rest of my life, and I'll also be telling it for the rest of my life.
Abandoned house.
I'll never forget the time me and my brother snuck out past our bedtimes to explore an allegedly haunted house down the block. Yes, I said bedtime, as I was only 10 and my brother Luke was only 12. When our parents said goodnight to us, I went to Luke's room and we took a couple hand-powered flashlights with us and hopped outside through the window. Luckily, his room was on the first floor. Those hand-powered flashlights worked by constantly pushing in a little trigger that would create light inside the lens. They were noisy as hell, but they were convenient. Once we were outside, we just walked down the block, and in 2 minutes we were there. It was rumored by all the neighborhood kids and teens that the place was haunted. Everything about it was creepy. The older, more antique design of the house, the isolation from the rest of the houses, and the broken windows and rotting wood. It seemed perfect for a horror movie. We went around to the backyard. This was all my curious and confident brother's idea. I was scared shitless. The door was locked, as expected. I felt a bit of relief, thinking we might just go home, but my brother made a shocking move next. He grabbed a plank of wood laying in the grass and began smashing the already chipped window. Eventually there was enough of an opening to unlock it and slide it up completely. We hopped inside and began cranking those noisy-ass flashlights. Immediately after entering the house, we both picked up on the fact that it was like 90 degrees in there, which was odd as it was a September night in the mid-70s. There was no graffiti or anything anywhere. In fact, it was relatively empty besides a few pieces of furniture that were clearly not worth taking along. It seemed we were the first to enter the house, shockingly, or at least from the back. We went upstairs to the main floor from the little den area and continued cranking the flashlights. That's when we heard the slightest crack in the floorboards from right above us. We both jumped. I tugged for Luke to leave, but he told me the place is old as hell, it's just house noises. I stopped cranking the flashlight at this point, and I urged Luke to do the same, but he only called me stupid for suggesting something so ridiculous. Then there was another crack in the floorboards from above us. He began walking upstairs. I didn't want to go up there.
If you can't see, then you should turn on the lights, but crank that down just a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But what if you don't got a flashlight that could do that though? But if you could see and it's night, you shouldn't have to turn it on. I'm not gonna lie.
I was not about to stay down there alone. I followed behind him to the upstairs. There was a door that led to a room right above where we were standing. I begged him not to open it, but he must have just wanted to be the big, tough older brother. He began to reach for the doorknob while still cranking the noisy flashlight, but then he stopped. I was confused. I could see in the dark he was moving his ear up against the door, listening for something. Silence. Then, the most deafening, nightmare-inducing moment of my life. A single bang on the door from the other side sent my brother staggering into the wall in pain, covering his ear. We dropped the flashlights and ran straight out the back door and back home. We were so loud when we got back that our parents found us out.
Damn.
We told them what happened, but they naturally didn't care and grounded us both for a week. 2 nights later, I woke to the sound of something from outside my window.
They followed you to your crib?
Brightness sneaking in through my slightly opened blind.
Oh, nah. I'm not gonna lie, if you gonna do that, and that happens here, bro, you should not run straight to your crib. You should at least circle the block, see people, you feel me? Just see if you getting chased or some shit. I'm not gonna lie, the way they describing it, they probably didn't even look behind them. They just run straight to the crib. You gave him the drop. You gave him your drop without even trying. Crazy.
And my heart sank when I realized it was the sound of the crank to my flashlight. I stood up and looked out the window, and that's when it stopped. There was nothing but complete blackness out there after that. I woke the next day barely remembering what happened, and I still hope today that that part was just a dream.
That's crazy, bro. Imagine you don't remember what happened because he drugged you or something?
This story took place a long time ago, back in 2002, when Craigslist was in its early years. Many wouldn't know, but back in those days, Craigslist was a lot different. It was a lot more so an online garage sale, or just a place where people would list old things that still had some value that they were willing to give away. I got a basketball hoop, a hockey net, and a spoiler for my car, all free in perfect condition in that same year. You'd be lucky if you found something like that these days. Anyway, me and my son were dying to buy a hockey net so we could practice in the cul-de-sac we lived in. For the record, this was before I got that free one I mentioned. Wouldn't you know it, on Craigslist there was an ad for a slightly used regulation-size hockey goal for only $50. It came with a puck and 2 slightly used hockey sticks. I still have a picture of that ad to this day. It seemed like the perfect deal, but he lived about 2 hours away. I called the number he had listed, and he sounded pretty normal on the phone. He had a pretty deep, dark voice, but nothing that would be off-putting. I remember his voice being a bit emotionless. He agreed to meet halfway due to the distance, said he'd put the stuff in the back of his pickup truck. He said he could only come after he got off from work though, which was much later in the day, way past dark. We agreed to meet at some rest stop off the highway. Me and my son, who was 11 at the time, took my wife's minivan, the only car that would be able to fit that huge thing. Within an hour, we were at the truck stop, which was empty at this hour, but was decently lit by 3 big light posts. I parked right under one of the lights and waited. A pickup truck pulled in off the highway right on time. He stopped right in front of me. I went over to his window, but then noticed there was nothing in the back of his truck. "You Steve?" he asked me. "Yep, that's me," I said. "Alright, my buddy's bringing in the stuff with his truck." The guy pulled up behind my car and put it in park. I suddenly had a bad feeling. I told my son to get back in the car and lock every door except mine. 2 more pairs of headlights came off the highway into the lot, surely enough pulling up next to me. And, not surprisingly at this point, there was no hockey equipment in either one of them. My heart was racing. I was worried. Not for me, but for my young son.
I'm not gonna lie. You gotta be careful, bro, because people really do be trafficking on that. You feel me? They can easily just snatch you up and make their bread off you. That shit crazy.
Who I, for some reason, brought with me on this trip.
Like, bro, why would you meet them? You gotta at least do it broad day. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Because there has been times when motherfuckers... But I don't know, bro. I'm just getting at seeing, like, fake shit. The only time where some shit has ever happened was once when I was young. You feel me? But... And some other niggas too. But, bro... But that wasn't even my fault. That was the other niggas that put me in that shit. But, bro... Them niggas, I don't know. Like, there was a time where motherfuckers was gonna get finessed. Not me, my mans. And then the nigga that I knew him. So he was like, he texted him like, "Oh nah, never mind. I seen you with Lemus. You good? You feel me?" So it depends, bro. You gotta know. You gotta know people. You feel me? If you know, you know. Cause at that point, bro, if you really want a hockey stick, you should already know. You should already know. I'm not gonna lie.
A group of large men mixed with heavy-set and muscular physiques stepped out of the 2 pickup trucks behind the first one. They eyed me from head to toe, giving that typical intimidation stare down. Then this bald guy wearing sunglasses said in a deep voice, "Where's the money?" I instantly pulled out my wallet and handed it to him, begging him to just let me and my son go. He pulled out like $100 and was pissed, expecting more. He then sent 2 of his goons or whatever to get my son. At this point I screamed and begged for him not to take him. One of the men broke the glass to the minivan back door, and I vividly remember the disturbing, heartbreaking screams of my young son. What happened next was what I can only explain.
You're just gonna stand there? Yeah, you're just gonna stand there and watch it. Wow. That's insane. You're just gonna stand there and watch it all unfold in front of you, and you're not gonna do nothing. That's crazy.
To be a miracle from God answering my prayers. A car was entering the lot from off the highway.
Bro, at least do something, bro. You feel me? It's your son, bro. At least do something, bro. Like, if you love him that much, bro, do something. You feel me? If you have a child, bro, you should be willing to do anything for them. You feel me? Because you wanted it. You feel me? If you didn't want one, you shouldn't have one. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I don't know. He's just watching.
All the men stopped and turned to look at it. As it got closer, my heart literally dropped in excitement as I saw it was a police car. The lights suddenly began to flash as he got close enough to see what was going on. All of the men were back in their trucks within seconds, speeding off down the highway. Well, at least two of them. The truck in the back was caught immediately by the police car, and backup arrived shortly. I explained everything to them, and
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually crazy how different it is in different places. Because if it was in like a third world country or shit, the officers, they would have literally just gone by and not cared. You feel me? Even if there was and they pulled up, they easily could have skirted off, gotten paid off. Like, bro, that shit's crazy.
The men that were caught to rat out on the others surprisingly quickly. I guess luckily the guys in the back truck weren't very loyal to whoever their leader was, if they even had any type of leader.
Crazy.
Believe it or not, I had a police escort all the way home to make me and my son feel safer. I don't want to get into all the legal stuff, but I'll just say that all of those men except for one was caught, and I'm pretty sure that was the driver of the first pickup truck. Needless to say, my Craigslist days weren't over at that point, but I have always been much more protective of my son, and much more cautious of Craigslist meetings since then.
Maybe don't bring him to the meetings. Lighthouse keepers.
There was once an isolated island off the coast of Scotland where 3 lighthouse keepers lived and were responsible for keeping the building intact. One day, when their monthly supply ship dropped in, the island was silent. No response from the lighthouse keepers. Eventually, the captain and some crew members went to investigate and found a disturbingly empty lighthouse. 2 of the 3 waterproof coats were missing from their hangars, and the kitchen was left in a state as if people had left in a hurry. The lighthouse log only added more mystery to the situation. The log described how one of the keepers wouldn't talk, and the other continuously cried for hours. All this pain and fear seemed to be coming from what was referred to as a powerful storm looming in the distance. However, this begs the question, why were they so scared of a simple storm? They should have been safe in the brand new lighthouse, right? The log goes on to talk about how they all sat close together and prayed for the storm to be over. The final log states, "The storm has passed, the skies are calm, and God is over all." Their bodies were never found, and the cause of their death is still a mystery to this day.
Damn.
The most accepted theory is that they somehow got swept out to sea during the storm, never to be seen again. But one final detail remains, one that scared the captain and his crew to the bone. The powerful storm described in the log didn't exist. There were no storms reported in the area. In fact, the skies were calm all day.
That's crazy. Night shift, 7-Eleven night shift stories. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. This is my man's. I'm not gonna lie. He be working at 7-Eleven at night shift, bro. But it's in the city though. I feel like this is gonna be one shit in the country that's like in the city, but a part that's like not really like known like that. Cause I'm not gonna lie, he be working at the one near Wall Street. You feel me? But that's in New York. That's different. That's just way more populated, so way more people gonna be in there. But still, shit could happen. But I don't know. I just feel like in those country stories, like it's way creepier. Cause nigga, there's only like 2-3 people close. Nigga, there's only like 2-3 people closest to you. So yeah.
It was 2 years ago. I was called in to do the night shift, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. at 7-Eleven. Since somebody called out. The store was located on a busy road in a rather quiet and rural area. During the night shift, you could expect anywhere from 10 to 20 people come in to buy a beer or something else. This one particular night...
I knew it, bro. I told you. I knew it. 10 to 15 people in the whole night.
There was this one guy, mid-20s, that came in. He started making weird noises, like loud yelling noises. I assumed he had some kind of mental disability. In fact, my brother has a mental disability, so I immediately felt sympathy for the guy. He walked up to the counter without any items, with his head facing me, but his eyes were looking up at the ceiling. I felt uncomfortable. I honestly didn't know how to deal with it. I tried speaking with him, but he only responded in loud noises. I kept checking if he was with someone outside, but he was alone. There weren't any cars in the parking lot, so I assumed he walked. He stood there for so long, looking up at the ceiling and making noises, that I tried to get him out by handing him a bag of chips and telling him he can go. I tried finding some kind of number to call for someone to help him. Then, out of nowhere, he finally turned around and walked out of the store. I felt so horrible for the man, but at the same time, I felt a bit creeped out. About an hour later, the phone on the counter rang.
It's the same dude?
I picked up to hear the familiar yelling sounds of the man from earlier. It caught me off guard. I didn't know what to think, other than this has to be some kind of prank. I hung up on them and was now becoming paranoid of my surroundings, constantly checking the outside through the windows. Come 4 o'clock, the person working after me came in, finally allowing for me to go home. It wasn't my problem anymore. I got home and threw all my stuff on the table, ready to get to sleep. But my phone rang within a minute after entering the door. I felt a chill run down my spine. Why would someone be calling at 4 a.m.? I could only imagine it was bad news.
Nah, bro. Your homies ain't built like that, bro. I'm not gonna lie, cause we be on at 4 a.m. I'm not gonna lie. Your homies just ain't built. I'm not gonna lie. They just ain't built. Even if it's for a Saturday, you feel me? The weekends, Friday, we definitely be on Friday. Definitely be on Saturday. Your friends just ain't built. I'm not gonna lie.
I braced myself and picked up the phone to hear the man again. I felt sick to my stomach as I listened to the loud noises he made. I struggled to slam the phone to the receiver. All night, I felt like I was being watched, even with all the blinds shut. And I could swear I heard strange noises coming from all over my house. I refused to get any sleep until the sun came up. Weeks passed and I had forgotten about the incident, until one day, when going into the basement for the first time in a while, I found that papers had been scattered all over the floor, and when I went into the basement closet, I found writing on the walls. 7-Eleven had been written in Sharpie on the wall, along with the address to the 7-Eleven I worked at and my house address. The most disturbing part, I also found various kitchen knives along with a large pocket knife sitting in the closet. What started out as seemingly just an innocent person turning into something of a prank ultimately turned into something much more horrifying. He had been living down there for God knows how long, and I'm just grateful that for whatever reason he changed his mind and left, because I haven't seen or heard from him since. All I can say is that man is dangerously ill.
Hey, Smiley Man, I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna have to make the part 2. I'm not gonna lie, cause yeah, bro, this gonna be too long. This shit already like 30-40 minutes. So, hey, if you're to the video, subscribe to the channel. Actually, just smash that like button, bro. I'm not gonna lie, hit that like button, cause that's what matters more nowadays than the subs. You feel me? But let me get the subs too. If you really want to, fucking with my videos. Anyways, that's the video. I'm finna catch you on the next one. Stay safe.